Day is done, gone the sun, from the sea, from the hills, from the sky.
very much, really. Yeah.
Lula la lula la lula lula le lula 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 le lula la lula la lula lula le lula 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 le.
Now that we're all settled, how about some fun songs to liven up our campfire?
No problem. Let's all sing Ging Gang Gooly together. Ging Gang Gooly 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 Gooly, what you Ging Gang Goo, Ging Gang Goo, Ging Gang Gooly 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 Gooly, what you Ging Gang Goo, Ging Gang Goo. Hey la Sheila, hey la Sheila, hey la ho. Hey la Sheila, hey la Sheila, hey la ho. Shally wolly, shally wolly, shally wolly, shally wolly, boom pa, boom pa, boom pa.
Ging gang gooly 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 gooly, watch out, ging gang goo, ging gang goo, ging gang gooly 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 gooly, watch out, ging gang goo, ging gang goo. Hey la Sheila, hey la Sheila, hey la oh oh. Hey la Sheila, hey la Sheila, hey la oh. Shally wolly, shally wolly, shally wolly, shally wolly, boom pa, boom pa, boom pa, boom pa, boom pa, boom pa. This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little guiding light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, oh no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Take my little light round the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine. Let it shine.
that's me. Kookaburra sits on the oak gum tree. Mary, Mary, king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Kookaburra sits on the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, save some there for me. Kookaburra sits on the old gum tree, counting all the monkeys he can see. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me.
Di sini kita berkumpul. Di sini kita berkumpul. Salam, 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 salam. Hoi, here we are, here we are, here we are again. Here we are, here we are, here we are again. Hello, 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 hello. Hoi, 在这里，在这里，我们在这里。在这里，在这里，我们在这里，好吗？好吗？好吗？好吗？好吗？嘿，恩耶耶，恩耶耶，恩里波林耶，恩耶耶，恩耶耶，恩里波林耶，瓦里根，瓦里根，瓦里根，瓦里根，瓦里根，嘿，恩耶耶，恩耶耶，ketemu maling，恩耶耶，恩耶耶，ketemu maling，kabare, kabare. Kabare, 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 hoi!
Assalamualaikum and good evening. Welcome to Empowering Girls' Voices International Day of the Girl 2025 with the theme of The Girl I Am, the Change I Lead, Girls in the Front Lines of Crisis. My name is Nora Shifa binti Aliasa as your moderator for today's first session. The ceremony welcomes all Girl Guides commissioners, Girl Guide leaders, and all Girl Guide members who are in the Zoom meeting and YouTube live platform. For your information, this program is held to celebrate the role and fighting spirit of teenage girls in bringing about positive changes at school, community, and in the world. As Girl Guides members, values such as bravery, leadership, responsibility, and a spirit of service to the community are always at the core of every action and struggle we take. Therefore, through this Empowering Girls' Voices celebration, and without wasting any more time, let's begin this program with an introduction to the Girls Advocacy Circle program, Empowering Girls' Voices by Miss Ko Jue-woon as the National International Commissioner. Please welcome.
Okay, hello. Salam Pandu Putri. It gives me great pleasure to welcome everyone to our celebration of the International Day of the Girl, year 2025. First and foremost, I would like to warmly acknowledge and extend our warm welcome to Datuk Yeo Su Keng, the Chief Commissioner of Girl Guides Association of Malaysia, all our leaders, the KPCs and all our LEK, and also all our Girl Guides of Malaysia to this program. Today, We come together as one guiding family to celebrate a very special occasion, the International Day of Girls for year 2025. This day is observed globally on October 11. It is dedicated to recognizing the rights, the dreams, the potential of every girl, including each and every one of you here today. The slides, girl? The slides. Who is controlling the slides? Yes. Okay. It is dedicated to recognizing the rights, the dreams, and the potential of every girl, including each and every one of you here today. This year, the official theme is The Girl I Am, The Change I Lead, Girls on the Front Lines of Crisis. This powerful theme reminds us that girls are not just passive recipients of aid and protection. You are leaders, you are change makers, you are innovators, especially during the time of crisis. Whether it is caused by conflict, climate change, health emergencies, or other challenges. The theme calls us to see you for who you are, to listen to your voices, and to support your leadership in shaping a better future. In 1995, at the World Conference of Women in Beijing, countries unanimously adopted the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. It is the most progressive blueprint ever for advancing the rights of not only women, but also girls. On December 19, 2011, United Nations General Assembly adopted that resolution and declare October 11 as the International Day of Girl Child to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. The International Day of the Girl focuses attention on the need to address the challenges girls face to promote girls' empowerment and to fulfill of their human rights, to the fulfillment of their human rights. Adolescents, girls have the right for a safe environment to grow, equal rights to education, and a healthy life too. So today we have invited four clovers and a counselor, a leader in our GGAM, who is a counselor. She will share and they will all share their views on four topics concerning girls, that is digital safety, bullying, mental health, and no child marriage. As Girl Guides of Malaysia, we are proud to be part of this global movement that empowers our girls to grow in confidence, character, and compassion. Through our girl guiding values, we learn to serve others, to care for our communities, and to make difference wherever we are. So, today as we celebrate, let us believe in our potential. Support one another as sisters in guiding. Lead with courage and kindness in everything we do. Respect our leaders. May today inspire each of us to be the girl guide that makes a difference for ourselves, for others, and for the world. Thank you and happy International Day of the Girl for year 2025. Selamat menyambut Hari Antarabangsa Kanak-kanak Perempuan. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ko Woon, for your speech. Now, let's invite Yang Berbahagia Dato' Yoh Su Kang as the Chief Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association of Malaysia to give her speech and then officiate Empowering Girls' Voices International Day of the Girl 2025. Please welcome.
Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the celebration of International Day of Girls of Persatuan Pandu Putri Malaysia 2025. We are delighted that there are so many of you that we have to put it onto YouTube Live and to meet each and every one of you to wish you all International Day of Girls. This is a very special day as International Day of Girls is celebrated every year on this day, October 11, to promote the empowerment of girls and highlight the challenges that girls faced worldwide. And that is why this year we have selected 4 topics that we feel is very crucial to all women of all girls of today. And today we also like to unite the honor and the strength and the spirit of girls everywhere with the theme, The Girl I Am, The Changes I Lead, and remind us that every girl is a leader. You are all capable of courage, resistance, positive change, even in times of crisis. And through this virtual gathering, we aim to create a safe and empowering space for all girls to learn, to share, and to be heard. Let us speak boldly about digital safety, cyberbullying, mental health, and the protection of girls from child marriage. Together, let us nurture the generation of girls who are confident, compassionate, and steadfast in leading girls to a better world. Together, we can turn awareness into action. Girls, your voices matters. Your safety matters and your dream matters. Let us continue to guide, empower, and protect every girl so you can lead change for yourself and for the world. Unity is strength. Happy International Day of Girls. Thank you. Salam Pandu Putri.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Yoh So Keng, for her earlier meaningful speech and officiation for this program. Dear attendees, we are now asking especially those in the Zoom meeting to open their cameras for a group photo session. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, hope please unshare the screen for a while. Thanks.
Joshiba, who is Joshiba? The screen is not on. Nice.
Okay, so now I will take the photo for the first page. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait for a while. Okay, then now we go to the second page.
Where's Dr. Zafir?
Dr. Jafir is second page. She never turned on the camera. Okay, never mind. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Let me see. Third page. Okay, now we are at the third page. Dr. Jafir sudah on camera. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, moderator may continue. Thank you.
thank you to everyone who participated in the group photo session earlier. Moving on to the next agenda in our program, I am not alone because I am accompanied by 4 beautiful Clover Girl Guides members to present the issues we are about to discuss today. The topics we are going to discuss is about digital safety, anti-bullying, mental health issues, and no child marriage. Therefore, let's welcome Miss Afifa to provide her views on the first topic, which is digital safety. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good evening, Dato and teams. So today I will present the digital safety known as the keselamatan digital. Next page. Next page. Okey, apa itu keselamatan digital? Keselamatan digital bermaksud melindungi diri, maklumat dan identiti semasa menggunakan internet, media sosial dan permainan dalam talian. Apa itu maklumat peribadi? Sahabat-sahabat sekalian, maklumat peribadi itu adalah nombor kad pengenalan, nombor akaun bank dan alamat rumah. Next slide. Okey, seterusnya adalah ancaman dan risiko dunia digital. Yang pertama adalah bully cyber, known as the cyberbullying. So, cyberbullying ni berlaku apabila seseorang dihina, diejek atau diaibkan secara dalam talian. Ianya boleh berlaku di WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram dan permainan dalam talian. Adik-adik kena menjadi seorang yang tanggungjawab di mana tidak menghina seseorang di laman sosial. Okay, next is penipuan dalam talian known as the online scam. So, online scam ni adalah penipuan yang menggunakan mesej, email atau panggilan untuk memperdaya pengguna. Tujuannya adalah untuk mencuri maklumat perbankan atau kata laluan. Contohnya, online scam ni adalah scammer akan memberi satu link ke media sosial kita di mana mereka meminta kita untuk klik link tersebut. Adik-adik, sahabat-sahabat sekalian, minta jangan tekan jika anda tidak tahu siapa yang menghantar maklumat tersebut kerana ianya boleh menjadi scam dan phishing di telefon bimbit anda. Okay, next adalah kecurian identiti known as the identity thief. Okey, seseorang menyamar sebagai kita untuk menipu orang lain. Contohnya, guna gambar atau nama kita untuk buat akaun palsu. Di mana perkara ini berlaku di dunia maya sekarang. Seseorang mengambil gambar kita untuk melakukan scam, meminta duit di contoh di Telegram. Dia menghubungi kita punya keluarga. So, adik-adik sekalian, sahabat-sahabat sekalian, mohon jangan percaya. Okey, next slide. Okey, kesan ancaman dan risiko dunia digital. So, kesannya anda akan kehilangan privacy. So, data peribadi seperti IC number, your picture, your location and your identity account boleh dicuri untuk tujuan yang jahat. So, ianya sangat sukar untuk memadam sesuatu yang sudah tersebar di internet. Saya mohon jangan expose awak punya nombor IC walaupun awak dah umur 12 dapat IC number and then awak excited, you're excited and share. No, don't. Okay, so next adalah ancaman AI dan deepfake. Okay, teknologi seperti deepfake ni boleh hasilkan video dan wajah atau suara seseorang. Okay, so deepfake ni sekarang dah berleluasa di mana dia menggunakan muka kita atau muka yang dibuat melalui AI untuk tujuan video palsu. Contoh dia minta sedekah. Tolong bank in 100, saya nak beli susu pampers anak. No, itu adalah scammer. Okay. Next adalah risiko penyebaran fitnah, penipuan dan dan penyalahgunaan identiti. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is cara melindungi diri di dunia digital. So, cara-caranya adalah guna kata laluan, yang ini password yang kuat. Gabungkan huruf besar, kecil, nombor dan simbol. So, contoh nama saya Afifah. Jadinya gabungkan huruf besar dan kalau boleh, tolong letak simbol. Okey, jangan sesekali memakai tarikh lahir sebagai password awak. Saya percaya di sini ramai adik-adik yang menggunakan nama dan tarikh lahir sebagai awak punya password. No, jangan. Ingat, jangan. Okay, so next, jangan klik pautan mencurigakan seperti yang saya cakap sebelum ni. Jangan elakkan klik pautan dari mesej, email atau komen yang tidak dikenali. Alright, and then aktifkan two-factor authentication. So, yang ni dunia sekarang dia sudah menambah lapisan keselamatan di mana ianya menggunakan pengesahan kod melalui SMS atau email. Okay, and then hadkan perkongsian maklumat peribadi. Jangan kongsi nombor kad pengenalan, alamat rumah atau akaun bank di media sosial. Okay, semak tatapan privasi akaun. Tolong di media sosial awak letak tatapan privacy. Hanya rakan-rakan sekolah awak sahaja yang follow. Jika ada anonism yang memfollow awak, so awak kena unfollow dia balik. Jangan bagi dia follow awak untuk lihatlah akaun-akaun awak. Dan jangan sesekali tag alamat rumah awak di media-media sosial kerana itu adalah sangat bahaya. Okay, next slide. Okey, keselamatan digital pada masa hadapan. So, buatan AI ni melindungi pengguna di mana sistem ni akan digunakan untuk mengesan penipuan dan serangan cyber secara automatik. So, sistem ni sudah dilaksanakan di mana AI ni akan savekan kita dari serangan-serangan cyber seperti scam and phishing. Okey, next adalah pendidikan digital untuk semua generasi known as the digital citizenship. So, adik-adik, anda perlu menjadi pengguna internet yang selamat dan bertanggungjawab serta faham tentang privasi dan data peribadi. Jangan kongsi, jangan menghina, jangan mengejek. Okey? Okay, next is teknologi biometrik dan pengenalan diri. Okay, sistem ni, teknologi ni, ianya telah terpakai seperti di handphone-handphone kita sekarang, Android atau Apple semua dah ada seperti cap jari, pengecaman muka dan suara akan digunakan untuk menggantikan kata laluan. Jadinya, simpanlah cap jari awak. Jangan bagi rakan buka handphone menggunakan jari awak kalau awak tak perasan, okay? So, next slide. Okey, dah kesimpulannya. Kesimpulannya, dunia digital memberi banyak manfaat tetapi juga penuh cabaran. So, keselamatan digital bermula daripada sikap dan kesedaran diri. Ingat ya. And then, berfikir sebelum berkongsi. Setiap klik membawa kesan. Tolong fikir dulu sebelum klik. Lastly, guna internet dengan bijak, beretika dan bertanggungjawab. Okay, last dari saya ingin katakan, once you post, you can't erase. Once you share, you can't take back. So take note. Thank you.
Thank you for the very interesting sharing, Miss Afifa. Next, let's invite Miss Awatif to give her ideas on the topic of anti-bullying. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera semua. So, forum saya pada hari ini bertajuk anti-bullying. So, isu bullying ni bukanlah perkara yang baru tau. So, ia boleh berlaku kat mana-mana je, dekat sekolah, universiti, tempat kerja dan sekarang ni dekat dunia maya pun ada. So, ramai yang menganggap perbuatan seperti mengejek, menyindir atau mengusik tu hanyalah gurauan. Tapi, hakikatnya perkara tu boleh meninggalkan kesan yang sangat dalam dekat mangsa bully. So hari ini saya ingin kongsikan sedikit sebanyak tentang apa itu bully, bentuk-bentuk bully yang sering berlaku, kesannya terhadap individu dan masyarakat serta langkah-langkah yang kita boleh ambil untuk membendungnya. Next slide. Okay, secara umumnya, bully ni dia bermaksud perbuatan tingkah laku agresif yang berulang bertujuan untuk menyakiti individu lain dari segi fizikal, mental dan emosi. Next. Bully ni boleh dibahagikan kepada beberapa bentuk. So yang pertama ialah bully cyber. Bully cyber ni berlaku melalui internet dan media sosial seperti menghantar mesej hinaan, komen yang kasar atau menyebarkan gambar tanpa kebenaran. Yang kedua ialah bully verbal. Bully verbal ni dia menggunakan kata-kata seperti menghina, mengejek atau memperlekehkan orang lain. Yang ketiga ialah bully social. Bully social ni menyisihkan seseorang daripada kumpulan dan dia menyebarkan fitnah atau aib. Yang last sekali ialah bully fizikal. Contohnya menolak, memukul, merampas atau mengugut seseorang. So walaupun cara yang berbeza, so kesemuanya akan meninggalkan kesan yang sama iaitu kesakitan dan trauma kepada mangsa bully. So next. Kesan bully ni boleh jadi sangat serius tau. So walaupun kadang-kadang kita tak nampak dengan mata kasar. So antara kesan utama ialah kesan emosi. Contohnya low self-esteem. So mangsa bullying ni dia akan jadi sedih, takut, malu atau hilang keyakinan diri. Yang kedua ialah kesan akademik. Kesan akademik macam difficulty in school or work. So mereka akan hilang tumpuan untuk belajar and then diorang tak nak pergi sekolah ataupun masuk ke kelas. Yang ketiga ialah kesan sosial, contohnya fear and anxiety. So mangsa bullying ni akan start mengasingkan diri dia and dia susah nak percaya orang lain. So last sekali ialah kesan jangka panjang. So ada yang terbawa sehingga dewasa menyebabkan mereka susah untuk bergaul dan mudah berasa rendah diri. So oleh itu penting untuk kita sedar bahawa setiap kata-kata dan tindakan kita boleh memberi kesan yang besar dekat orang lain. Next. Punca berlakunya bully. Okay, bully ni biasanya berpunca daripada kurangnya nilai empati. Dia macam kurang nilai kasih sayang dan dia rasa macam dia nak tunjuk kuasa dekat orang lain. Tapi sesetengah individu pula dia membuli sebab mereka sendiri pernah kena bully. So ada juga yang melakukan bully tu untuk dapatkan perhatian, tapi mostly pengaruh rakan sebaya lah. So selain itu penggunaan media sosial tanpa kawalan pun boleh menyebabkan bully cyber. Kadang-kadang orang dia berani tau kata kasar dekat dalam talian sebab dia rasa bila dia cakap kasar tu dia tidak akan dikenali atau kena hukum atau tindakan. So apa pun sebabnya kita tak ada alasan yang boleh membenarkan perbuatan membuli. Next. So langkah-langkah menangani bully. So bagi menangani masalah ini, semua pihak perlu memainkan peranan macam pelajar, guru, ibu bapa dan masyarakat. So yang pertama ialah pendidikan nilai dan empati. Kita perlu dididik untuk memahami perasaan orang lain dan tahu bahawa kata-kata boleh menjadi senjata yang sangat menyakitkan. Yang kedua ialah galakan komunikasi terbuka. Mangsa pun perlu tahu bahawa mereka tidak keseorangan. Macam mereka ada guru, ada rakan-rakan yang boleh jadi tempat untuk berkongsi masalah. Yang ketiga ialah gunakan media sosial dengan bijak. Jangan mudah sebarkan perkara yang boleh menjatuhkan maruah orang lain ya. Yang terakhir ialah laporkan kejadian bully. So kalau kita nampak kejadian bully, kita jangan diam. Laporkan terus dekat guru, pihak sekolah atau orang yang kita percaya, orang yang boleh dipercayai. So kesimpulannya, bully ni bukanlah sekadar masalah individu, tetapi masalah masyarakat yang kita kena overcome sama-sama. Kita semua pun berhak untuk berasa selamat, dihormati dan dan diterima dalam persekitaran. Ingatlah, next slide. So ingatlah ya, orang yang kuat bukanlah orang yang membuli tetapi orang yang berani menegur dan menghentikan perbuatan buli. So kita kena mulakan dengan diri kita sendiri, kita kena berhenti mengejek, berhenti mengatur orang, kita kena start sebarkan kebaikan. So saya yakin kalau setiap daripada kita ni memainkan peranan, budaya buli ni kita boleh hapuskan sikit demi sedikit. So marilah kita cipta persekitaran yang lebih positif, harmoni dan penuh rasa hormat. Sekian, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you Miss Awati for sharing so much information with us just now. Without wasting any time, let's welcome Miss Damia to discuss her topic regarding mental health. Please welcome.
Okay, good evening everyone. Tonight I will be sharing about something that affects all of us, which is mental health. We often talk about physical health, like eating well or exercising, but mental health is just as important. It influences how we think, feel, and behave in our daily lives. Good mental health good mental health allow us to handle life challenges, build strong relationships, and make meaningful decisions. It is truly a path to well-being. Okay, next. Okay. So what is exactly mental health? Mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we handle stress, relate to others, and making choice. When our mental health is balanced, we can stay calm under pressure. It's not just about the absence of mental illness. It's about having the strength and stability to live a fulfilling life. Okay, next. Studies show that people with good mental health are less likely to develop chronic illness and tend to live longer. Secondly, it influences our relationships. When we mentally eat well, we communicate better and connect more deeply with others. And finally, it contributes to our happiness, productivity, and success. In short, when our mind is healthy, our life becomes more balanced and meaningful. Okay, next. There are several common mental health disorders that people experience. The first is anxiety disorders, where a person feels excessive fear or worry even about normal situations. Next is depression, which causes persistent sadness, lack of energy, and loss of interest in activities. We also have post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD. It's when someone continues to feel distress after a traumatic event. And lastly, bipolar disorder, which involves extreme mood swing from very high energy to deep lows. These conditions are more common than we think, and understand them help us support others and ourselves with empathy. Okay, next. It is important to recognize the warning signs of poor mental health early. Some common symptoms include persistent sadness or irritability, social withdrawal or isolation, changes in sleep or appetite, and difficulty concentrating or making decisions. You might also feel overwhelmed, anxious, or hopeless. If you notice this sign in yourself or someone else, it's okay to reach out for help. Early supports can recover much easier. Okay, next. Now, what causes mental health problems? There is not just one factor. It's usually mix of several things. The first one is biological factors like genetics and brain chemistry. The second one is environmental factors such as trauma, abuse, or ongoing stress can also affect our mental health. There are social factors like discrimination, bullying, and loneliness. And of course, lifestyle choice, such as poor diet, lack of sleep, or no physical activity can make things worse. Understanding this causes help cause help us build more supportive environment for okay. The good news is there are many ways to maintain our mental health. Start with self-care. Eat nutritious food, get enough sleep, and exercise regularly. Next is stay socially connected. Spend time with friends and loved ones. Practice mindfulness and relaxation. Take moments to breathe deeply, reflect, or meditate. And most importantly, seek professional help when needed. There is no shame in asking for help. It's a sign that you care about yourself. Okay, next. Okay, everyone experiences stress and anxiety. It's part of being a human. But the way we cope make all the difference. The first one, we can try deep breathing or meditation to calm our mind. Next is journaling can also help, which is we write our thoughts and feeling to release the tension, like on the note app or on your diary. Okay, next is engage in hobbies or physical activities. You enjoy like painting, walking, or listening to music. And finally, set realistic goals. You don't need to do everything at once. Taking small consistent steps builds resilience and confidence. Okay, next. One of the biggest challenges we face today is the stigma about mental health. Many people think that having a mental health problems is a sign of weakness, but that's completely untrue. Mental health is just as important as our physical health, and asking for help should be seen as strength. We can all help break the stigma by having open conversation, being kind, and supporting to those who are struggling. When we talk about mental health, we make it normal, and that can save lives. Okay, next. If things ever feel too heavy, remember that help is available. Professionals like therapists, counselors, and psychologists are trained to guide us through difficult times. Treatment might also involve therapy, medication, or joining support groups, and that's perfectly okay. Reaching out early makes always people and resources ready to help. Okay, next. To end my presentation, I would like to remind everyone that mental health is a journey and not a destination. There will always be ups and downs, but what matters, be kind to your mind, take breaks when you need them, and check on your friends and family. Together, we can create a world where mental health is valued and supported, just like physical health. Okay, next. And remember to take care of yourself and others. Thank you.
Listen. All right. All right. Thank you for the very meaningful sharing, Miss Tamia. Finally, the ceremony invites Miss Rama to present on the topic of no child marriage. Please welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly grateful to be here today to share something that touches me deeply, a topic called no child marriage. When we hear the word child marriage, it might sound like something that only happens in old stories or faraway countries. But sometimes these stories are much closer to home than we think. Actually, for me, it's not just a social issue. It's something like that I've seen the effects of it in my own family. Let's move on to the next slide. So, my grandmother was only 13 years old when she was forced into marriage. She actually went to her cousin's wedding, but somehow that day she ended up being married herself. No one asked for her permission. Her father simply decided. Besides that, her mother had just passed away when she was very young, so she didn't have anyone to protect her or speak up for her. She told me she didn't even understand what was happening that time, as she was just shocked, too scared to talk or refuse. At an age when she should have been in school, playing with friends, and discovering who she was, she suddenly had to be a wife. Soon after, she became a mother. She had to leave her babies with her mother in law and go out to work just to support her family. It wasn't just her childhood that was taken away, it changed the course of her whole life and even affected her children. When I listen to her story, it makes me realize how one decision made without a girl's consent can impact generations. Moving on to the next slide. According to UNICEF, child marriage is any formal or informal union where one or both partners are under 18 years old. Around the world today, 1 in every 5 girls is married before turning 18. That's over 650 million women alive today who were married as children. In our region, Southeast Asia, nearly 1 in 10 girls still face this. So, why does this still happen? Some families believe early marriage protects girls from shame or poverty. Others think it's a tradition, but often it happens because of a lack of education, limited opportunities, and pressure from society. Even with laws and awareness, child marriage continues because some people still believe it brings protection or honor. Families under financial pressure think marrying their daughters off early reduces their burden, and many lack access to education and don't see other options. And sometimes, even though law exists, they are not enforced strictly enough. But what I've learned from my grandma's story is that most families don't mean harm. They simply don't see another way. That's where we come in as a girl guides to show that there is another way. Moving on to the next slide, the effects of child marriage. Child marriage doesn't end with a ceremony. That's only where the struggle begins. Girls who marry early often have to drop out of school, losing their chance to study or build a career. They face early pregnancies, which put their health and even their lives at serious risk.
According to a 2021 study in the Lancet Global Health, girls married before 18 are 3 times more likely to face domestic violence and 50% less likely to complete secondary school. Many suffer from emotional trauma like anxiety, depression, and a sense of being trapped. And because they have fewer opportunities, their children often grow up in the same cycle of poverty and limited choices. So, this is not just a woman's issue, it's a human rights issue that affects the entire communities. So, moving on to the way forward, what we can do. Ending child marriage is not easy, but it's possible. And it begins with education and awareness. So, education first. When girls stay in school, they marry later, have healthy families, and build better lives. So, next will be community awareness. Sharing real stories like my grandma's help people understand the pain behind the issue. Thirdly, will be empowering girls. Through movements like Girl Guides, we can teach leadership, confidence, and life skills that help girls say no when pressured. Then, through supporting parents. Sometimes families just need help through social or financial, so they don't see marriage as the only way to protect their daughters. Lastly, will be strong law enforcement. Governments and communities must work together to make sure no marriage happens below 18. A 2020 study in the International Journal of Child Rights shows that programs combining education with small financial aid reduce child marriage rates by 40% in rural areas. So, when communities come together, change is possible. Moving on to the next slide, my reflection and message here is when I look at my grandmother now, I see a strong woman, but also a woman who never got to live her own childhood. She often says, if only I had a chance to study, my life would have been different. So her story reminds me that we can't change her past, but we can protect another girl's future. Every girl deserves to learn, grow, and dream freely, not to be forced into adulthood before she's ready. As a girl guide, I believe it starts with us by speaking up, by supporting one another, and by raising awareness in our schools and communities. So let's be the generation that ends child marriage, not the one that explain why we did. So lastly, girls are not rights, girls are the future. And when we protect their right to childhood, we build a stronger, fairer world to everyone. Thank you.
Miss Misha Atika.
Thank you, Ms. Shifa, for the wonderful session just now. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Misha Atika and I'll be your moderator for this second session. Dear ladies, now is the time that we have been waiting for, which is a Q&A session with our beautiful speaker, Miss Elizabeth Louise Gerard, the Girls Guide Clover Commissioner, Kuala Lumpur branch, who is also a registered and licensed counselor. For your information, this is an interactive Q&A session. Therefore, if you have any questions, you may type it and send through the YouTube live chat box. So let's get back to Miss Elizabeth. Hi, Miss Elizabeth. How are you?
Hello, good evening. I'm good. Very
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Good, that's good. So maybe to start, can you tell us something about yourself, your background, or something interesting perhaps?
Okay, sure. So hello everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I have been in Girl Guides, I think for about 15 years now. And I have and I'm also a registered and licensed counselor I've worked in a community setting and also in school settings, besides freelancing, outside of these areas.
Ooh, nice background. Okay, so I think without further ado, let's start our Q&A session, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to open the floor to the speakers to voice out their questions first. Miss Afifa, would you like to go first?
Thank you, moderator. So, hi, Miss Elizabeth. I have
Hello.
a question. If I have been cheated by a scammer and lost money, what should I do next?
Okay.
Okay, thank
So I just want to make sure that I don't misrepresent anything. So I am not an expert talking about what to do when you're financially scammed, but usually, so I'll just share from experience when we have clients that come in for therapy and they express that they have these concerns. Okay, so usually what we will do, of course, we will encourage them if they are still able to make police reports. So if they have been scammed, of course, most importantly is you need to make a police report. And then with the evidence that the police have, the police might take the action necessary. Of course, prevention is better than cure. So as you have presented earlier, making sure that you go through all the measures to protect yourself from any financial scams or scams of other kind, that is most important because based on personal and also professional experience, there are certain scams where you will not be able to get the money back because the money is already gone. And for young adults or young people, such as our audience tonight, most of the time, yeah, it probably is money coming out from e-wallets and whatnot. So that's also a huge risk there. Yeah.
Okay, for the next question, what is the best advice you would give to someone who been cheated online, especially a scam at money or loving scam? Okay.
So financial scams and also love scams, those are two different types of scams. So if we're talking about financial scams, of course, it will be to protect your information. Usually, I think with our audience tonight, if you are a young person, I would imagine that if you are purchasing things online, you have a card or an e-wallet linked to your account. So we're talking about, it could be anything, right? So I think the most important is do not keep your password saved in there. If possible, every time you do a transaction, you how do I say, you manually input them rather than having it saved, even though it's convenient, because you never know how you might be hacked. Yeah. With regards to love scams, of course, there's a lot of online dating these days. I think just even though it can be difficult, especially if we feel so emotionally invested into that relationship, but you have to trust with a pinch of salt. Yeah, so anytime if anybody is asking you for money and things like that, I think especially if you've not met this person, if you don't know more about this person, and whatnot, so it's okay to be wary and not lend the money. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Miss Elizabeth. That's all from me. So I will pass to the moderator.
All right. So anyone wants to ask questions more? Okay, it seems that we have questions from the chat box. Oh, sorry, it's from YouTube. Okay. So it's from Afia Imelda. She asks, saya ingin bertanya, bolehkah bully berlaku antara kawan baik tanpa disedari? Okay, Miss Elizabeth, what is your thought about this?
Okay. Yes, memang bully boleh berlaku tanpa disedari. I think like what the speaker mentioned earlier, a lot of times it comes in ways that seems like a joke, but actually it's not funny. I think especially when you have been, sometimes like sarcasm, you grow up in an environment perhaps where sarcasm is a thing. It's normalized already. And then yeah, it actually comes off. It is actually bullying, for example. So it can be sarcasm, or it can be saying things like, oh, kalau you tak bagi I tak nak kawan, saying things like that. Yeah, so a lot of times it seems normalized, but until you speak to someone who has a different opinion or has a different perspective or is more mature, I would say, then they are able to tell you that, hey, actually this is not right. Yeah.
Miss Elizabeth, I want to ask a question.
Mhm.
In your opinion, how can school create a safer environment where student feels confident to speak up against bullying without fear of being judged?
I think definitely it is the adults' responsibility to create the culture. I am sure that I think it's a very common experience whenever I do counseling with young people, or even young adults, where they have a very negative experience of counseling, because when they share stuff in school, the next day or the next hour, tiba-tiba the whole school knows their story. And that is, I mean, if you are a true counselor, if you have gone through training, it is unethical for you to actually do that. You're not actually allowed to share what is private and confidential, except to the people that need to know only. Yeah, so I would say that it has to start with the adults first, the teachers, the school leaders, to create an environment where what is private and confidential remains so. Only the most essential of information to be shared with those who need to know. And I guess also, from there's a lot of empathy, and also understanding that is needed. So saying things like, "Ayah, ni benda kecil je lah," or "Ayah, this is normal. This is between, this is your generation's age and all that." So instead of having such a response, something that is more empathetic or that is more understanding will help young people to be able to open up more. Yeah.
Right.
For the next question,
Okay, sure.
do you think counseling alone is enough to change a bully's behavior, or should there be a more awareness program to address the root of cause of bullying?
Yeah. So counseling is not one size fits all. Okay. I think a lot of people think that, oh, bila you pergi counselor, you go for counseling, you go for therapy, the problem will be solved just like that. Actually, no. A lot of times when you come in for counseling, it's the problem that you see is only the surface. I don't know whether you know what is like a iceberg. Iceberg is like, in north, like Antarctica or wherever, when the ice break, right? So you have the top of the iceberg floating on the ocean, and then actually there's a bigger part of the iceberg at the bottom there. So actually, so there's a lot of underlying things that we need to address in order for that issue to be resolved. And with bullying, it is not just a matter with the bully. it's also a matter with the system. So as a school counselor, usually our process, our policy, we don't just address it with the student, with the bully. We actually do a systemic approach where we address it with the family as well. So we have to involve the family. We have to involve the school. We have to involve everyone around, and yes, having awareness campaigns are important, but with awareness campaigns, it is not a bad thing, but we also have to be prepared for the reports that come out after that. Yeah, so with a multi faceted approach, hopefully that would be a much better way to resolve the issue of bullying in schools.
All right. Okay. So let's continue with other question. Is it okay, Miss Elizabeth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So one question from YouTube Live from Ayush. Okay. Her question is for anti-bullying. What is the effective strategies or resources can girls use when they witness or experiencing bullying, like online or in person?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I sense that I think a lot of our audience is quite concerned about bullying. Definitely would be number one. Definitely you need to be brave. You have to be brave to speak up, whether you are the victim or whether you are the bystander, the person that is looking or the person who knows. You must be brave to speak up. Yes, it can be very scary, even traumatic, when the bully threatens, and I think in very serious cases threaten your life, right? But we must have the hope and the belief that we are not alone and there is help. We can actually get out of that situation. So that's number one. Number two, I always tell my young people, the people that I work with, besides being brave, you have to keep telling, tell until somebody helps you, until you get the help that you want. So if, for example, you tell your parents and unfortunately your parents don't do anything, don't say anything, they just tell you to, oh, tabahkan diri je lah, just carry on with it, just ignore them or whatever. But it doesn't work, right? So if that doesn't help, then tell another adult. Tell. Even if you have to tell, for example, the authorities. When I mean by authorities means it's not just school teachers or leaders, but if you have to make your own police report, go to the hospital and make a report and things like that, you do what you need to do. There are for example, there is a dedicated child line, a helpline for children and teenagers called Buddy Bear. So if you Google Buddy Bear in Malaysia, that is a helpline that you can speak to and they will guide you through the resources. Another is Talian Kasih. You can call through or text through Talian Kasih for you to get the help that you need. Yeah, and this is if you telling all the other adults in your life has not been helpful and you need to tell someone of more authority. Yeah. Oh, another thing is don't do it alone. There is strength in numbers. So don't do it alone. Have friends. with more voices, you will be more brave to confront the bully. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so there are various ways to do when you are experiencing bullying, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just don't be afraid. Just do whatever, as long as you are safe. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think next question. I see from the Zoom meeting chat, we have from Nadira Sofia. So she asked, how can someone tell if they are feeling more than just sad or stressed?
Okay.
So it's about feelings.
I think I think most importantly is if you feel like your daily living activities have been affected. So if you feel like you have not been getting enough sleep, or you're unable to sleep, or you are sleeping too much, or you are eating too much, or you are eating too little, or you are not being able to do the things that you usually love to do, or nothing brings you joy anymore. Another is you are constantly feeling anxious, or obsessively thinking about whatever those issues are. Then I would say it is best for you to talk to someone. And if you do talk to a counselor, a trained professional, we do have certain questions that we can ask, and based on the scores, for us to evaluate, how is your mental health. Yeah.
I see.
Hi, Miss Elizabeth. I have a question. Can I?
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, Rama.
In your opinion, if a girl manages to escape from a forced marriage, what kind of emotional support does she need first? Is it like comfort, safety, or confidence?
So if she managed to escape, is it? Did she run away from home, or did she run back home? What is the context?
Ran back home,
Okay.
but the marriage was by her parents' pressure.
Sure. Okay. So with that context in mind, definitely, of course, it is for her to have safety. It's a bit tricky because if it is her family who forced her to marry and she runs back home, I'm sure we have heard of stories where, unfortunately, in extreme cases, the girl is punished. And thrown out of the house and things like that. So of course, most importantly is she needs to have the support, in safety, physical safety, and of course, emotional support as well, because once she decides to break away from that arrangement, she has to go through legal processes and cultural processes to cut away completely, which she might not even be able to do. Yeah. And if she decides to run away from home, she doesn't go back home to her family, she runs away completely. In Malaysia, we have women and children shelters that she can reach out to get the help that she needs. But the best is for her to either go to a police station, or she goes to the hospital, government hospitals, where they have the authorities there that will help her. If she is a teenager or a child, the authorities they work together with the Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat, where she might be placed into a shelter home if necessary.
Okay. So I think
I want
yes, Damia.
to ask question.
Yeah.
So my first question is, Why do you think mental health still carries stigma despite increased awareness?
Okay. I would say perhaps it's the quality of the awareness, if awareness has been raised. I think a lot of times we might just like advertise the awareness, but there is not a lot of opportunity like what we have tonight for us to go through in depth to discuss their doubts about the things that they're being raised awareness about. I think also another one is we are talking about trying to change generations of beliefs and habits about mental health. And that's never easy because you're talking about, it's generations, it's so many years already. But one good thing is that at least for the young generation, we are a lot more vocal. We are a lot more outspoken than our parents and ancestors' generation to speak up about things. So at the very least, though there is still stigma, but the stigma is much more reduced. Yeah.
I want to ask another question.
Mhm.
Okay. How can we distinguish between everyday stress and a more serious mental health issue?
Okay. Well, everyone goes through stress. There's good stress and there's bad stress, and bad stress also helps us to grow. Despite the anxiety or the sadness that we might feel. But how do you know whether it's something more serious? Is if it affects you for a significant period of time. So it can be like more than 2 weeks or 1 week or 1 month. It doesn't get any better despite you changing your lifestyle, for example. So for example, it can be like if you are feeling stressed or feeling sad and whatnot, you try to change things up. Maybe you try to like go for exercise, you try to spend more time with loved ones, you try to do more activities, blah blah blah, and all that, and it doesn't quite work. Or perhaps you try to fix the issue, but it doesn't quite work as well. Then yeah, and it's prolonged. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to say my cat is feeling very manja, so she might appear. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, I think, okay, let's continue. I think a question from the YouTube live is from Adelia Hana. So, bagaimana bully boleh terjadi di dalam kalangan orang yang kita percaya? I think this one is almost the same as
Yeah.
just now, right? Okay.
Yeah. I guess because you trust the person. So yeah, I mean it's in the question itself, right? Kita percaya, right? It's because you trust the person. Human beings, I mean that's the part that makes us human also, isn't it? Where we are optimistic, we are hopeful, we are trusting of people. Especially when it's like another example is like abuse, right? I mean, in abuse cases, especially with domestic abuse and domestic violence and whatnot, why is it that it's difficult for the victims to get away from the abuser? It's because of that trust and because of comfort. We are afraid of something that we don't know, and because yeah, it's just that human perspective or that part that we have where we just think that things are going to change. Yeah, so that's probably why you might not notice that bullying is happening. And if you do notice that the bullying is happening, you might not choose to do anything about it. You just choose to, bear with it. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, next question. Hi, I'm Irdina from Kedah. Hi, Irdina. So I have a question. Is child marriage considered as a rape because they are underage? Okay, this is an interesting question.
Yes, a
What
very
is your
interesting
thought?
question. I agree this one. Okay. So, okay. So in Malaysia, I will just state two laws, a general laws. Okay. Number one, consent for sexual activity or sexual intercourse, there is an age of consent. I believe it is 16 years old, if not 18 years old. I probably need to check that. Okay. And then second is the age for marriage. I believe a few years ago, Malaysia changed it to 18 years old in most states. But there are still some states that don't allow, that is lower, the age of the marriageable age. And the third law is in Malaysia again, we also have Sharia law. We also have our we also have that part of our legal system. Okay. So it's very tricky. It's very, very tricky. Most of the time, when we talk about child marriage, now I'm not an expert on the law, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't go to court and whatnot, but I believe most of the time when there are legal cases against child marriage, we are focused more on the marriageable age or the consent age, or we come from the perspective of what is ethical, what is the child rights, which is child rights to education, child rights to being a child, things like that. Okay. Perhaps some lawyers may choose to bring up the issue about it being considered as rape. But yeah, but I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, probably best to ask a lawyer, but yeah, that is a very interesting one. Because even in marriage itself, and I'm not talking about underage marriage, I'm talking about like off-age marriage, right? Unfortunately, there is something called marital rape, where the spouse may not consent to have sexual intercourse, but the other one wants and perhaps forces against the consent. Is that considered rape? Unfortunately, in our law, it doesn't really say. So very tricky. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so probably best to ask a lawyer, but it's a very, very good question. Very good question. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Irdina, for that question.
Mhm.
Okay, so next question. First of all, I want to say sorry if I miss out any of the questions because there are few. Okay, so next is from okay. Hi, Miss Elizabeth. I am Shreya Lakshmi from Perak. May I know how would counseling be conducted, or can it be conducted if the person is not comfortable sharing or would not like to be perceived as a person who has mental health issues? Example, acts as if everything is fine and confines it to themselves, thinking it's not important and tries to push it down. Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds like denial, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. With counseling, we don't believe in forced counseling because for therapy or for counseling to work, the person needs to have some form of motivation or some form of awareness or acceptance or acknowledgement that there is a problem. But of course, if someone does come in and is actually like mandated counseling, like law says you have to do it, or like in schools, like case discipline, where you are forced to come in as part of your behavioral discipline program or whatever. It is a job of the counselor to do something called motivation. It's a technique called motivational interviewing, where it's not technically, it may seem like a bit like an interview, but what we're trying to do is we are trying to elicit, trying to draw out motivation from them. So helping them to think of another perspective, or helping them to reconsider what is going on. Even if there is an ounce, like a small little bit of opening or acknowledgement, then it's the job of the counselor to, okay, make that bigger. As long as we try to open the door a little bit and force our way through the door, but we also can't force lah, because like I said just now, like therapy is not one size fit all, and it doesn't happen just like that. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So I would say it's to, if the person is reluctant, or if the person is in denial, most likely it's because, one, they lack awareness or understanding about what their issue is, or they lack awareness about how their issue is impacting them. The other would be fear. They fear what would happen if they address the problem. Or it could also be they are very comfortable with, like, there's a thing that I always tend to say is that people like drama. There's some people who really like drama. Okay, their life is a telenovela, and they like that. So if you are dealing with a person that's like that, and of course it's also difficult for them to accept help lah. And also perhaps it's the stigma also. They are scared that people will think that they're crazy, or they are weak, or whatnot. So I would say, I would say you can try to persuade this person to come in, even if it's just for one session. Sometimes even in that one session, we counselors might be able to plant a seed for them to consider and reflect, even if they don't come back after that. We believe that that they are actually reflecting or thinking about it. Ultimately, it's their choice. If they choose not to do anything, and it continues to affect their relationships and whatnot, then that's something that they need to be responsible for lah. They need to be willing to accept.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth. So I think that that will be our last question. Okay, sorry everyone if your questions can't be answered because we are running out of time. So, all right, ladies, it has been such a fantastic time to be able to hear everyone's doubts and sharing this meaningful session with all of you. So with the answers we gained today, I hope everyone could be the agent of change and thus, like our words, empowering girls' voices. So I want to express my biggest gratitude to Miss Elizabeth and all of our four speakers for a very fruitful discussion just now. Thank you too to all the Girls Guide that had asked away their questions in the chat box, in the YouTube live chat box. You guys are the best, all right? So next, let's continue our event by having our National Girls Guide Clover Commissioner, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Zafir Mat Saleh, to deliver the closing remarks. Please welcome.
Hi all, Assalamualaikum. I hope you can hear me. Assalamualaikum and good evening to our respected Girl Guide Commissioner, leaders and the celebrated Girl Guide members. As we come to the end of this program, I would like to thank all of you for being part of this important International Day of the Girls celebration. Today, we have learned, shared, and reflects on real issues that impact or affect the girls, from digital safety and cyberbullying to mental health and child marriage. Well, the team, the girl I am, the change I lead, girls in the front lines of crisis, remind us that girls are not just leaders of tomorrow, but anda semua, you are all leaders today. Okay? But our journey does not stop here. Next, we will continue with girl advocacy circles, empowering girls' voices, series 2, on 18 October 2025, where we will hear even more inspiring stories and girl-led advocacy from our Pandu Putri, Remaja and Ranger members. So are you excited for our next series? I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation Encik Antarabangsa Kebangsaan, Puan Law, Pandu Puteri Remaja Kebangsaan, Profesor Madya Dr. Janice, Setiausaha Kehormat Pandu Puteri Malaysia, Cik Elizabeth, Pesuruhjaya Pandu Puteri Clover, Cawangan Kuala Lumpur, the moderators from Majlis Pandu Puteri Clover Kebangsaan, technical team and all four Pandu Puteri Clover members for their dedication and hard work throughout the preparation of this program. So together, let us continue to listen, support, and continue to take action, because when girl lead, change will truly happen. Thank you and see you soon in series 2.
All right, thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Nur Zafir Mat Saleh for the beautiful speech. Dear Girls Guide members, let's now sing Night Taps song together. Everyone, please be ready.
Day is done, gone the sun, from the sea, from the hills, from the sky. All is well, safely rest. God is night. Malam datang, siang hilang. Dari laut, dari gunung, dari langit. Semua selamat, sihat rehat. Berkat Tuhan.
Thank you for the Night Tap song singing just now. Girls Guide, we would like to remind everyone to join us again for Series 2.0 next week at the same time and on the same platform. Before we officially end our event, everyone is required to do this Google Form quiz to verify your attendance. All of the questions are based on everything that we had discussed during this entire event. You may also scan the QR code to answer the quiz. For your information, the technical team will display the QR code for 2 minutes before ending the meeting. The quiz form will be accessible until 11 p.m. tonight. Alright, Girls Guide members, we have officially came to the conclusion of the Empowering Girls Voices International Day of the Girl 2025 event today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to everyone for your presence, participation, and continuous support throughout this meaningful event. Thank you once again, everyone. With that, I am Misha Atika, your moderator for today. Assalamualaikum, and may you have a peaceful sleep tonight.
Google Chrome. Tak. Well, after this song.
Sekejap, kau tengah buat ni. Kau dah kenapa kau ingat aku mengantuk ke? Kau nak